Hi, everybody, and welcome to the NYSTRA Annual Conference. My name is Noelle Molloy, and I am a Credentialing and Test Development Specialist here at NCTRC. And today's topic that we are going to discuss for the next hour is the NCTRC certification process. Before we begin the presentation, NCTRC does put a disclaimer on all of their presentations that does say that whatever we are discussing within today's presentation does reflect the contents of the NCTRC certification standards as of April of 2021. And we put this disclaimer in because our certification standards do change periodically over the years. So we do encourage you, when you are ready to apply as a CTRS, as a new applicant to NCTRC, to become a CTRS, a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, that you do check the most current requirements that are posted on our website. And we will be reviewing the website in a little bit, so you can see where those certification standards are found on our website. So today's session objectives do include describing the 3 requirements to gain professional eligibility from the NCTRC certification standards, to name 3 components of the application process for professional eligibility, and to be able to restate at least 2 methods to prepare for the NCTRC exam. So when NCTRC does our presentations, we do always start off with our core purpose and our mission statement. And the reason why we start our presentations with our core purpose and mission statement is so that we can remind individuals that most times, or all the time, when NCTRC makes any decisions regarding certification standards or policies or procedures, we always refer back to our purpose and our mission. So our ultimate purpose is to protect the safety of consumers of recreational therapy services. And our mission basically is stating that any individual that does hold that CTRS credential, that Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist credential, is promoting the provision of quality services and protecting the public. And so basically what we're saying is that when NCTRC offers or issues that credential to an individual to become a CTRS, they are actually showing evidence of meeting requirements, whether it's the certification requirements to become an initial CTRS, or whether it's the recertification requirements in order to maintain your credential as a CTRS. When you are ready to apply to NCTRC, you are going to be applying for what NCTRC calls professional eligibility. In other words, you are going to be applying as a new applicant. So when you are ready to log into your dashboard profile, and again, we will be looking at that profile in a little bit in this presentation, you will be choosing the professional eligibility application. And again, it's a fancy word that NCTRC uses, basically saying that you are going to be applying as a new applicant to NCTRC. And when you are applying using the professional eligibility process, you are applying for the ability to take and pass the NCTRC exam. In order to become a CTRS, you do need to take and pass the exam. The professional eligibility status is awarded to those individuals who do meet these certification standards, and it is awarded for a 5-year period. There are 2 paths that you can use when applying to NCTRC. The first path is the academic path, and the second path is the equivalency path. And we will be discussing both paths today during this presentation. Under the academic path, there are 3 requirements, 3 components to both paths, the academic path and the equivalency path. Under the academic path, you will be getting a minimum of a bachelor's degree or higher from an accredited college or university. You will be completing a therapeutic recreation and general recreation content coursework, supportive coursework, and an internship. And that bachelor's degree under the academic path does need to be in therapeutic recreation or a major in recreation with an option in therapeutic recreation. Under this academic path, there is a 2-step process that you can actually use when using the academic path. You can use the academic path as a complete academic path, where when you are applying to NCTRC, everything is posted to your transcript, your final transcript. So your degree has been posted, your internship credit has been posted, your internship has been completed, and then you would submit your application to NCTRC. You can actually utilize the academic path to apply to NCTRC when your internship has not been completed yet and your degree hasn't been posted yet, but all of your academic coursework has been completed and posted to the transcript. And we're going to talk about the required coursework in the next couple of slides. So if you do decide to apply to NCTRC with your degree not posted and your internship in progress or not quite begun yet, you will have to show evidence that you are enrolled in a degree program that is pertaining to recreation therapy. You will need to complete a minimum of 90 credit hours towards that degree, and you will need to complete all of the required coursework, and that does need to be posted to your transcript. So if you decide to apply to NCTRC utilizing this part of the academic path, again, with your degree not posted and your internship not quite started or finished, you will need to submit to NCTRC two official transcripts, two sets of transcripts. One official transcript when you are applying so that NCTRC can review the coursework that is completed. And then you would have to submit a final transcript to NCTRC once your degree has been posted and your internship grade has been posted as well. Again, under the academic path, if you do decide to do that path where you will be applying without your degree posted, you will need to complete the exam and take and pass the exam, and you will need to complete that internship experience. And again, you will need to submit to us that final transcript with your degree posted and your internship grade posted. So going back to that path just for a second, so if you, when you do apply to NCTRC, and if you are using the academic path where your degree has not been posted and your internship has not been completed, if you do, when you do pass the exam, you won't be considered a CTRS until you do submit that final documentation to NCTRC, which will be, again, that final transcript and any internship information that may have been omitted from the initial application to NCTRC. The other path that you can use to apply to NCTRC is the equivalency path. The basic difference between the academic path and the equivalency path is that the equivalency path, you do have to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree, but that degree can be in any area. So you can have a degree in psychology, sociology, human services, any area. It does not have to be in recreation therapy, as opposed to the academic path where your degree does need to be in therapeutic recreation. Under the equivalency path, you still need to complete the same therapeutic recreation and general recreation content coursework as in the academic path. You do need to still complete the same supportive coursework as in the academic path. And then the other difference between the academic path versus the equivalency path is that under the equivalency path, you would be using paid work experience versus an internship experience for academic credit. So going to that content coursework, that required content coursework under both the academic and the equivalency path, you do need to have a total of 18 semester credits of therapeutic recreation and general recreation content coursework. 18 credits equates to 6 courses total. Out of those 6 courses or 18 credits, 5 courses or 15 credits need to be specific in therapeutic recreation content. When NCTRC looks at your transcript and identifies a therapeutic recreation content course, that is a course that is listed on your transcript that is a minimum of 3 credit hours in length and does have therapeutic recreation within the title of the course. So when you are looking at your transcript and getting ready to submit that to NCTRC, you want to identify those courses that have therapeutic recreation in the title in that therapeutic recreation content coursework area of the application. So an example could be Introduction to Therapeutic Recreation, Therapeutic Recreation Processes and Techniques, Issues in Therapeutic Recreation. So when you are filling out your application, ultimately you will need to have listed a minimum of 5 courses in that therapeutic recreation area. There is going to be a certification standards change in this particular area, and that's why NCTRC does highly recommend that when you are ready to apply to NCTRC, that you do check our website for the most updated certification standards. So as of January 1st, 2022, and that is on or after January 1st, 2022, any applications submitted to NCTRC will need to have a minimum of 6 courses in recreation therapy content coursework area. So therefore, we won't be looking for that one general recreation course any longer. You will need to have a minimum of 6 courses in therapeutic recreation content. And again, each course must be a minimum of 3 hours in length. So if you are thinking of applying to NCTRC, and you don't have 6 therapeutic recreation courses on your transcript, I do highly recommend that you submit that application to NCTRC prior to January 1st, 2022. You don't need to take and pass the exam by January 1st, 2022, but you do need to submit that application to NCTRC no later than January 1st, 2022 or before. So really it will be December 31st, 2021. And then you have, again, that 5-year professional eligibility period that I talked about before to take and pass the exam. So going on to the supportive coursework, the supportive coursework requirement under, again, both the academic and equivalency path does include an overall total of 18 credits in the supportive coursework area, again, equating to 6 courses. And out of those 6 courses, or 18 semester credit hours, we do look for a minimum of 3 hours in human anatomy and physiology. It can be a combined course, anatomy and physiology. It does not have to be 2 separate courses, but it does need to equate to 3 hours in both of those areas. And NCTRC does not count a lab as the requirement. We also look for a minimum of 3 hours in abnormal psychology. So that is basically either an abnormal psychology class or a psychopathology class that we look for in that particular area. And then we look for another 3 hours in human growth and development across the lifespan. Basically, when we look for this course, we look for a course that is a development course that covers a lifespan course that covers development from birth to death. So typical course titles may be developmental psychology, human growth and development across the lifespan. So we do look for those 3 required courses. And then again, I did say that there's 18 semester credits, so that equates to 9 credits. And then the remaining hours, or those remaining 9 semester credits or 3 courses, can just be in just general social sciences and humanities. And that really could be almost anything on your transcript, from psychology to sociology to gerontology to cultural anthropology. Really, it covers a wide variety and a wide plethora of different titles, course titles that we would take on your transcript. So going back to academic path versus equivalency path, under the academic path, you would be completing an internship experience. The current internship experience standards does include a minimum of a 560-hour, 14 consecutive week internship experience in therapeutic recreation services at one agency site. When NCTRC is looking at that internship experience, we are looking to see that you have been exposed to all of the job task areas in the current NCTRC job analysis study. You will need to be supervised by 2 CTRS internship supervisors. Both have to be actively certified at the time of your internship. So your academic supervisor, which is the supervisor that is at your college or university, and your agency supervisor, which would be the supervisor at the agency or organization that you are completing that 14-week, 560-hour internship experience. In addition to both of those supervisors being actively certified at the time of your internship, The agency CTRS supervisor, so that supervisor that is supervising you at the agency or organization, does need to have the CTRS credential for a minimum of 1 year prior to supervising an internship student. And there is a way that you can verify that that agency CTRS supervisor has been certified for 1 year prior to ensure that your internship will count. And we will take a look at that on our website in just a little bit. Again, when we are looking at this internship experience, we are hoping that there will be a shared responsibility between the academic institution, the college or university, and the selected agency. We also make sure that your internship is completed after the majority of your required therapeutic recreation coursework is completed, and you do need to receive academic credit for that internship, and that is reviewed when you are submitting that official transcript to NCTRC. So if you are looking to apply using the equivalency path, again, the difference between academic path versus equivalency path is that you would be using the work experience component rather than the internship component. Under the equivalency path, there are two options that you can use for your work experience. The one option is to complete a minimum of 5,000 hours of paid work experience using the TR process, or you can utilize the minimum of the 1,500 hours of paid work experience that uses the TR process. This 1,500 hours of paid work experience does need to be supervised by an active CTRS, and that active CTRS needs to supervise your work experience for at least 1 hour for every 10 hours that you work per week, which means that if you work a 40-hour work week, that active CTRS supervisor would have to directly supervise you for 4 hours a week for every week of your work experience to equate up to that 1,500 hours of paid work experience. When we are looking at this paid work experience, we are not looking for a minimum amount of hours worked per week or a maximum amount of hours per week. So we are just looking for a total amount of hours. So once you get to that 5,000 hours of work experience, if you are not working under a CTRS, or once you get to that 1,500 hours of paid work experience working under a CTRS, that's when you are able to apply to NCTRC utilizing the equivalency path. So I did talk a bit about this job analysis. So what is the job analysis? The job analysis basically is going to identify for us the important tasks and knowledge areas needed, deemed necessary for competent practice as a certified therapeutic recreation specialist. And again, the job analysis is broken down into two areas: job tasks and knowledge areas. Job tasks being your practical experience. So what you do on a day-to-day basis as a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, what you do as an internship student to get that practical experience, to take the exam, to pass the exam, and then to become an active CTRS. And the knowledge area is that conceptual knowledge is all of that information that you are taught within college. Once you graduate college, the conceptual knowledge that you gain by working as an active CTRS on a day-to-day basis at the agency or organization that you are employed at. The current job tasks of the CTRS are the following. Basically, we look for professional relationships and responsibilities, and then we look for that TR process, the APIDE process. The process probably that has been drilled into your head from day one of your academic career in therapeutic recreation. So we look for assessment, planning, implementation, evaluation, and documentation. And then along with that actual TR process that you do on a daily basis as a CTRS, we do look for active involvement in treatment teams, in developing and maintaining programs, in managing TR/RT services, and also awareness and advocacy. So when you are doing and you are completing your internship for your senior year of your academic institution, these are the job task areas that you need to be exposed to in order for that internship experience to meet NCTRC requirements. So you don't have to be exposed to every single little mini task underneath the overall domains, but you do need to be exposed to all of these overall job tasks of a CTRS as part of your internship experience. So when NCTRC does look at your internship or your work experience, we do relate it back to that job analysis area. And so we are looking for the experience to be based on the TR process, again, as defined by the knowledge and skills of the current NCTRC job analysis study. The applicants should have an exposure to all of those job task areas. Again, the job task areas that we just covered on the previous slide. And the applicant should demonstrate exposure to the opportunities to develop skills for competency in the TR process. So now we're going to switch on over to the NCTRC website, and I am going to give you a little bit of a tour of our website, and then I'm going to show you the professional eligibility application in hopes that it will assist you when you are ready to apply to NCTRC. So we're going to flip on over here to the NCTRC website. And I'm going to just, again, give you a little bit of a tour on this website. So just to familiarize you a bit with all of the wide variety of information that you can find on the NCTRC website. So one of the best pages to be familiar with is the publications and forms page. This is the page where you will find all of our marketing materials and all of the important information that you will need to become a CTRS or to maintain your certification. So way back at the beginning of this presentation, I talked about these certification standards. And this is where you can find the most updated certification standards. They are posted on our website in English, French, and Spanish. And again, they are updated regularly. And this presentation is based on the April 2021 certification standards. So when you are ready to apply to NCTRC, I, again, do highly recommend that you review the standards to ensure that you are meeting the current application requirements for NCTRC. The other area that is really helpful in this particular part of the website is that if you are applying using the equivalency path for application to NCTRC, here are the verification forms that you will need to submit as part of your application process. The employment verification form is the verification form that does need to be filled out by the Human Resources Department at your agency. And this is the verification form that will indicate whether you have completed the minimum of 5,000 hours in recreation therapy or the minimum of 1,500 hours in therapeutic recreation experience. So you will need to submit a verification form from the Human Resources Department. If you have more than one employment, then obviously you would have to fill out a verification form per employment. If you are using equivalency path where you would be getting supervision from a CTRS, you would need to submit this employment verification form from Human Resources and the CTRS work verification form. So that CTRS supervisor that has supervised you for the 1,500 hours would fill out this verification form. It does not have to be the same CTRS supervisor for the entire 1,500 hours. So if you do have one CTRS supervisor, then you would have to have as many supervisors that supervise your work experience for that 1,500 hours. And again, you would have to submit that as part of your application to NCTRC. We also do have a new application tutorial. So if after we finish this presentation, you're not sure about a certain thing, you can certainly take a look at our tutorial, which also does go through the professional eligibility process and the professional eligibility application. Once you do become a CTRS, there is some applications and so forth that you can certainly take a look at to maintain your certification And when you are a CTRS, you will have to submit an annual maintenance application and a recertification application. Now, let me remind you that all of these applications will be done online via the online application portal. These applications are just posted on our website for you to take a look at, so you have an idea of what you need to fill out on an annual basis, and then the every 5-year recertification application process. As a CTRS, you can actually get continuing education for supervising interns and as well as for supervising equivalency path applicants to NCTRC. When you go a little bit further down on this page of our website, you will see that there are the exam resources, which I know a lot of you are saying, oh my goodness, I have to take this exam. How am I going to prepare for it? NCTRC does have the exam content outline written for you. We do have an exam reference list. There is a practice exam that you can purchase for $24.95 that does include 90 retired test questions to help you get acclimated to how the exam is administered. It is a computer-based exam that you will be taking in order to get certified with NCTRC. So that is the publications and forms page of our website. I did tell you that I was going to show you the verification portal. This is a really important portal of our website, part of our website as well. Again, checking to see when you are ready to do your internship. You can check to make sure that the agency supervisor that you will be doing your internship under is actually actively certified and has been actively certified for a minimum of 1 year. So you would click on this verification search portal. If you have the individual's last name, you could put their last name in. The best way to find an active CTRS is by putting their certification ID number in. So I'm going to input my certification number. And you will see that I have been certified for a really long time. So let's not look at that date, but you will see that my initial date is from 1988. My annual date is not until 12/31/2021. And my 5-year recertification is 12/31/2025. So if you do put in a CTRS certification number in the portal and nothing comes up, that means that the individual is not actively certified at that time. So you might want to go back to that individual and let them know that they didn't come up in the portal and that there may be something wrong with their certification. Again, the best way to find a CTRS supervisor is to have their certification ID number handy for you. So you can certainly ask them for that when you are looking for your internship site. Okay, so we're going to go back to the homepage of NCTRC, and I'm going to show you the application portal. So when you are ready to apply to NCTRC and to submit an application to NCTRC, you're going to set up an account with us, and that account is going to be at My NCTRC login. So initially, when you don't have an account, you would click on No Account to create one. And in here, you would put all of your demographic information, all of your important information, your name, your address, your phone number, a password, and then you would click Submit. Now, this is going to sound silly and funny, but when you are filling this out and you are creating an account with NCTRC, you do need to put in your official first name, not a nickname, not another name that you go by, but your official first name. Because when you do set up an account with NCTRC, the name that you put in that account is the name that goes over to the testing company when you are ready to take the exam. And then that testing company will look for your government issued ID when you are ready to sit for the exam. And if your government issued ID does not match the name in your NCTRC account, you will not be granted access to that exam site. So make sure that your name matches what is on your government issued ID. Typically, a government issued ID that you would be using to access the exam site would probably be your driver's license or your passport. Another area on this page that I want to direct your attention to is your email address. Please put in an email address that you do check regularly, and please make sure that the email address that you do input is inputted correctly, because NCTRC's first line of communication with you when you apply to us, when you become a CTRS, is emails. So we will be sending email reminders, email notifications when your application has been received, when it has been reviewed, when it has been approved, email notifications once you do become a CTRS, when you are due to submit your annual maintenance, when you are due to submit your 5-year recertification. And if the email address is not correct, obviously you won't be getting those communications from NCTRC, and you may miss out on deadlines regarding annual maintenance, signing up for an exam that you may want when you are applying as a new applicant, or your 5-year recertification deadline. So definitely please make sure that that email address is correct, and that is an email that you do check regularly. If your email does change, you can actually change it in your dashboard profile. The only information that you cannot change once you set up an account with NCTRC is your name. So again, make sure that the name that you input is the name that is found on your government issued ID. So I'm going to go back to the NCTRC homepage, and I'm going to log into an account that we do have set up for purposes of our presentations, so that you can see what a dashboard profile or your dashboard profile will potentially look like. So this is what your dashboard profile will look like. You can actually put a picture here if you like to. It will have your name, your phone number, your address. If at any time any of this information needs to be changed, you would just click on update your information, and you would click on edit, and you would change any of the information that needs to be changed. So we're going to go back to my main page dashboard. When you are applying as a new applicant, or when you are applying for professional eligibility to NCTRC, your applications will look different on your dashboard as opposed to somebody that is already an active CTRS with NCTRC. So you will be using these applications for your initial application. Once you become a CTRS, your dashboard profile and your applications will change to then equate to being a CTRS. If you are unable, or if you change your name, you will just click on this name change document, and then you would submit the name that you want NCTRC to put in your account, and you would have to upload as part of that process 2 forms of government issued ID. So I'm going to log in and start a professional eligibility application for you so you can see what it looks like. So you're going to click on professional eligibility application. When you click on it, you will not have a list of all of these applications. It will just be a blank screen, and it will say on it, create new application. So you would click on create new application, and it will bring you right into a professional eligibility application. Now, just to remind you that all of your applications will be on this online application portal. So once you do become a CTRS, your annual maintenance application will be on here, your recertification application will be on here. So this is the area that you will go to regularly to submit any application that is needed by NCTRC by your expiration dates. So as a new applicant, you are going to be filling out this professional eligibility application. But let me just show you something before we continue through this process. I'm going to go back to my main page dashboard, and then I'm going to click on professional eligibility application again. And I'm going to show you that it does say on this page now that I'm not eligible to create a new application. Once you start an application, you can't start another new application, but what you can do is re-access the application that you have already begun. So you would go to the application where it does say pending, and you would click on the blue details button, and then that brings you back into the application. If we had inputted any information into this application, it would have remained, and then you can re-access the application and continue on with filling out the application. So depending on where you are at right now in your academic, in your academic path, if you're a senior, if you're a sophomore, if you're a junior, you can actually start filling out this application. Any information that is inputted is saved, and any information that is inputted, if for some reason you did not put it in correctly, you can always edit it or delete it and go back and change it. So I really do highly recommend that you start taking a look at the application so you are aware of the information that you will need in order to submit that application to NCTRC. So we are going to start this professional eligibility application. And on any application that you submit to NCTRC, it's always going to start off with the eligibility questions. These are questions that are going to be asked to you on an annual basis. So when you are due to send your annual maintenance into NCTRC, once you become a CTRS, you will need to fill these eligibility questions out yearly. For the purposes of this presentation, we are going to select no for each of these areas so that we can get through the application. If for some reason you look at one of these questions and you do select a yes response, there is an area for you to submit supporting documentation as to why you said yes to one of the eligibility questions. If you do say yes, the application can still be submitted to NCTRC. It is then reviewed by a credentialing specialist and then will be cleared to be reviewed for professional eligibility. If we do need more information, again, we will email you with any requests that we may have for additional information for any of a yes answer on an eligibility question. So you're going to read these questions and answer either yes or no. And then on the bottom, there is a declarations area that you are going to say yes to. Basically, this area is saying that you have read those certification standards, which we talked about before, and that you understand the rules and the regulations that NCTRC has in place regarding the testing conditions and regarding your application process. So I'm going to click yes here, and then I'm going to click save. And for the purposes of this presentation, I am going to choose the academic path, and I'm going to click save. Once you choose your path, the instructions and the requirements for that path will come up on your dashboard profile. So if I happened to choose the equivalency path instead of the academic path, the requirements for the equivalency path would have come up instead. And then the requirements would have changed a bit under the internship and under the degree area. So again, for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to choose the academic path. So these are all the requirements that we just talked about within the PowerPoint. So you can always go back to this page at any time when you are filling out your application to get a reminder as to what you do need to input into the application. Okay, so when you submit your application and your path, on the left-hand side here is going to be the areas that you need to fill out. You can go in order, you can go wherever you want, it's up to you. It's not any particular requirement that you have to fill it out step by step. For the purposes of this presentation, and because I am a pretty organized person, I am going to go in order. So I'm going to click on the required TRRT coursework area. And in this particular area, like I had stated before, you will need to submit a minimum of 5 courses in therapeutic recreation content. And then the 6th course, because again, we are looking for 18 semester credits, can be a general recreation course. Or if you have all 6 courses in therapeutic recreation, then you can just submit a minimum of 6 courses in therapeutic recreation. And it's really very simple to add your coursework. You're going to click add. You would click whether you're inputting a TR course or a general recreation course. And then you're going to put the estimated course end date. We don't need to see the exact one, but we do need to see an estimated end date because the application won't go through unless you do put in an end date. I do recommend that you use this calendar when putting in your dates, because there have been times when individuals have called the office and said that they weren't able to input their coursework, and they weren't able to input it because they were not putting the correct date in manually. So we're just going to say, for the purposes of this presentation, that my end date for my course is 5/4/2021. Then you're going to input your course title. So you can either put in the course prefix and the course number and the title. You could put in just the course prefix and the number with no title. You can put in just the title. And CTRC really doesn't have a preference as to what you input, but you do need to input some sort of a title so that we can identify it on that official transcript that you have submitted to NCTRC. And then you're going to click Save. And ultimately, you are going to end up having 5 courses listed in this recreation therapy area, and then 1 course in the general recreation area. So let's just put 1 course in the general recreation area. We'll just put an Intro to Rec, and we'll click Save. So you can see how it's actually split up by general recreation and then therapeutic recreation. Okay, so again, like I said before, if you start your application and you realize, oh no, I didn't have Intro to TR, I had a different course, I can either edit the course by just changing in here and then just click Save, or I can actually delete the course. If I totally made a mistake and I totally messed up and I did not put that course in at all, I can delete the course. So once again, 5 therapeutic recreation courses and 1 general recreation course, or all 6 courses can be in therapeutic recreation. Therapeutic recreation courses are courses on your transcript that do have TR in the title of the course and are a minimum of 3 semester credits in length. Internship courses, practicum courses, field experience courses do not count for this content area. Okay, moving on to the supportive coursework area. As we discussed before with the PowerPoint, in the supportive coursework area, you are going to be adding a course in anatomy and physiology, and we're going to click Save. You're going to add a course in abnormal psychology, and click Save, and a course in human growth and development, and click Save. So ultimately, when you are done with this page, you will have at least 1 course in the abnormal psychology area, 1 course in the anatomy and physiology area, and 1 course in the human growth and development area. And then you will need to submit those humanities and social sciences courses. So you will need to have a minimum of 3 courses in that area. So we'll just put a general psych course and we'll click Save. Okay, so basically this is what this page should look like once you are completed with your application. Let me just backtrack for a second, because when you are filling out your application, there is a part that you see that says upload syllabus. We don't require a syllabus unless the course title is not clearly indicated on your transcript. So for example, if you ended up taking a human structure and function class instead of an anatomy and physiology class, you might want to add the syllabus of that class just so that NCTRC can see the content of that coursework. So if it is a course that is not clearly indicated on your application, we do recommend that you submit a syllabus. If you're not sure if you should put a syllabus in or not, then don't put it in. If NCTRC requires additional information, we will again email you with that request. So that is the supportive coursework area. And just going back to that academic path and the equivalency path, so far, everything that we've inputted on this application will be equivalent for both the academic path and the equivalency path. So the recreation therapy coursework and the supportive coursework. Now, the differences that we did talk about before do lie in the academic degree and then the internship for the academic path and the work experience for the equivalency path. So with the academic degree, if you are applying to NCTRC with your degree in progress and not quite posted on your transcript, you can actually leave this area blank if you choose, or if you do know when you're going to get your degree, then you can certainly input your degree. So you would click add, you would put what type of degree you're getting, you would put what option or where you're getting your degree in, and you would put that it's either less than 3 years ago or over 3 years ago, and then you would put your approximate degree date. And the beauty of this application is that there is actually a drop-down menu, so you can actually choose your college from this list of colleges as to where you did school. So for the purposes of our presentation, I am going to say I went to Lehman College. And then I'm going to click save. And again, if you find out that you inputted your information wrong or you didn't put the date incorrect, you can either edit or you can delete. And if you click delete, it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete? And if you click OK, it will go away and then you can just start over again. So that is the degree area of your application. Then we're going to head on to the internship area. And once again, if your internship is in progress, you don't need to fill this out for your initial application. If your internship has been completed, you will need to fill this out for your initial application. So you would click add, you would click internship, and you would pick your start date and your ending date. So I actually started my internship in January 11th, and I ended my internship on April 30th. So you can see my start date, my end date. If you input this information and your internship is in progress, NCTRC will not review this information in your application, but we would review it at a later date once your internship has been completed and once the internship grade has been posted to the transcript and that transcript is submitted to NCTRC. So you would start, you put your dates in, and then you would put how many hours per week you did your internship. So I actually did 40 hours per week for my internship experience. If your hours varied, if you had a wide variety of hours during your internship, you can actually leave this area blank and you could then input your internship logs. On our website, there is an internship guide, which I forgot to show you before, so I am going to pull it up now so you can see it. Under the internship guide, there is a time log and all the information here related to your internship experience. So forgive me if I'm scanning a little too fast. These are the job task areas that you do need to be exposed to during your internship experience. And here is a time log that you can utilize to fill out during your internship experience if for some reason the agency that you are doing your internship at does not have time logs available to you. So if for some reason you did do a variety of hours, you can put that internship log as part of your application. You don't have to use that student internship guide created by NCTRC. You can use the time logs or the hours or the log book or documentation that was given to you by the agency that you did your internship at. We do ask that if you do have to put in time logs, that they are organized by weekly areas and that we do see an ultimate end result of the hours per week worked. It's a lot easier for NCTRC to review when it is a more of a concise time log. And then you're going to select your agency setting. So where you did your agency, the population that you worked at, the care level, and the the age that you did serve during your internship experience. And then this brings us down to the job analysis task areas. These task areas that we talked about before in the presentation, where you do need to be exposed to all of these particular areas of the job analysis. Now, you can see under each of these domains, there are different tasks that do fall under those domains. When NCTRC is looking at the job analysis task areas, you do not have to be exposed to every single one of these areas, but you do need to be exposed to this overall domain that's written here. So you do need to be exposed to A, professional relationships and responsibilities, B, assessment, C, planning interventions, D, implementing interventions, E, evaluating outcomes, F, documenting your intervention, G, participation or knowledge of how the treatment teams and or service providers organize and work within that agency that you're doing your internship at. Developing and maintaining programs. Now, again, this may be something as an internship student that you would not be doing. However, it is important that you do get exposed to how the developing and maintaining of the programs are completed at that agency site. And also with the managing TRRT services, there is a good chance that you won't be managing any staff, you won't be preparing an annual budget, but again, to be exposed to how all of those different tasks are done at the agency or organization. And then awareness and advocacy. And once you have clicked all of these areas, you can click Save. And if you click on Edit, you will see all of the information that you inputted into your application. After you input your internship information, you do need to input 2 supervisors. You need to put in a academic supervisor, the supervisor at your agency. The academic supervisor is the supervisor at your college or university, and your agency supervisor, the supervisor that supervises you at the agency or organization. So you would click New, you would click this area, you would click either customer name or customer ID. It's a lot easier if you do pull up the customer ID, and we're going to put my ID in there, and you'll see that my name comes up, and I'm going to click it. And I was not the academic supervisor, I was the agency supervisor. And then I'm going to click Save. So ultimately, you will need to have 2 supervisors in this area, one that says agency and one that says academic. If at any time during the application process, you're not sure what you're missing or what you need to fill out, you can always click on a status button. And this status button will actually show you what areas you still need to fill out in order to submit the application successfully to NCTRC. Once it's filled out correctly, there should be no X's in any of these areas, and then a submit, checkout, and make payment area will appear on this side of your application. And then when you're ready, you would click that submit, checkout, and make payment, which again will be over here, and you would pay the $125 non-refundable review fee. Once the application is submitted to NCTRC, you do need to submit your transcripts to us. The transcripts do need to come directly from the college or university to NCTRC if they are being sent electronically or via email. If they are being sent via postal mail, our address can be found on our website. So that is how we fill out a professional eligibility application. I'm going to bring us back to the presentation and continue on through this. So again, when you are ready to fill out your application, you'll need to go to nctrc.org. You will need to submit official transcripts to NCTRC, but you do need to have access to your transcripts in order to fill out your application, because you will need to list out those courses, the course titles, the course either the course prefix and number or the course title in each of those particular areas in the required coursework area. And then you will need to have that form of payment of the $125 non-refundable application fee. Once you've submitted your application, you'll get this little email saying that you've completed your application and that the review process can take up to 4 weeks. The review process will not begin until NCTRC does receive your official transcript. So the review process can take a bit longer if the transcript does not come right away to NCTRC. So when we are looking at the review process, we are looking for the official transcripts from all the colleges and universities that you attended. And we do recommend that you do submit transcripts from all the colleges and universities you attended, just to ensure that the coursework is visible on the transcripts and that we can identify all of the academic coursework that is required for application to NCTRC. If additional information is needed, your application will be put in a need more information status, and you will see that on your dashboard profile. And in that need more information status, if there's an application comments area, click on that application comments area, and that's where you will see a comment from NCTRC as to what information we need in order to complete the review of your application. If your application is approved, you will get an email from NCTRC regarding how to log back into your account and pay the exam registration fee, which is currently $325. Once you submit that $325 exam fee, then you would receive another email, and within that email will show you where you schedule your exam appointment during the requested testing window. Just a reminder that you cannot indicate that you are professionally eligible until you do get that official notice from NCTRC saying that you have met professional eligibility requirements. And you cannot use the title CTRS until you do get official notice from NCTRC that you are a CTRS. So going back to that academic path where you can apply with your internship in progress or your degree not posted, if you pass the exam when you are applying that way, you are not considered an active CTRS until you do submit to NCTRC that final transcript. Just a quick overview of the exam, because I only have about 8 minutes left, so I want to make sure I get to this. The exam FastFacts, it is a 150 multiple choice question exam. It is a computer-based exam. The exam is offered now at an actual testing site, or you can actually take the exam as a live remote proctored exam, which means that you can choose the site that you take the exam at. It does have to be a secure site at your home or your office or your work or your school. And it does need to meet specific criteria in order for you to take the exam as a live remote proctored exam. You do have 3 hours to complete the exam, and you will be notified of your exam results at the exam site or when you do complete the exam. So you will get an exam result on the screen, whether you passed or you failed. And again, if you passed the exam, but you did not submit all of your final documentation to NCTRC, you will not be considered a CTRS. If you passed the exam and you did submit a full, complete application to NCTRC, you are considered a CTRS the exact time that you passed the exam, and you can actually go to your dashboard profile and you can print off a CTRS certificate showing that you are an active CTRS. There are 6 testing windows that NCTRC offers per year: January, March, May, July, September, and November. And the testing windows do extend through the entire month. So it's January 1st to 31st, March 1st to the 31st, etc. down the list. So you can take the exam anytime during that month of the testing windows. Preparing for the exam, I kind of showed you on our website the different areas of the exam preparation tools. Your education is really your most important preparation. Review that exam content outline. Again, that is found on our website. Review the NCTRC exam reference list, also found on our website. That exam reference list does include a listing of all the textbooks that are used to write exam questions. And we do have that practice exam available to you, that 90-item practice exam that does include all retired test questions that were previously on an active NCTRC exam. This is the exam content outline. It is based on that knowledge, the knowledge areas part of the job analysis. This exam content outline, again, if you go to our website, each of these overall content areas has a listing of what is included in each of these areas. So I do highly recommend that you do check out that exam content outline for preparation for the exam. And my last slide, NCTRC and the Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist. Once you get that certification, invest in yourself, get involved in your profession, join NYSTRA, join professional membership organizations, be active in committees, be active in conferences once we are able to be in person again. It's really so important that we get involved. We are a small but great profession, and the backbone to our profession is the networking and the friendships and the professional relationships that we make by attending conferences. Be driven to continuous learning and improvement of your skills. Remember, once you do become a CTRS, you do need to recertify. You need to recertify by taking a minimum of 50 hours of continuing education over that 5-year period. Use NCTRC as a resource. We are here for you always, all the time. Email us, call us. We will always get back to you. And be proud of your credential and maintain your credential. You have worked hard to become a CTRS, so make sure that you maintain that credential and always wear your pin, proudly display your certificate, and always, introduce yourself as a CTRS, because it is a great honor to become a Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist. I thank you for your time. Here is our contact information. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference, and I do hope to see you guys next year in person. Have a great day.